you today. And for who don't know who I am, of course, my name is Rula Husseini. I'm Palestinian in origin, born and raised in Jerusalem, in the holy city of Jerusalem. I have my family living there until this moment, and life brought me to Bahrain 19 years ago, where I met the first Pakistani national here in Bahrain, and then we got married, and I'm stuck between Bahrain, Pakistan, and Palestine. So it's like I have a piece of my heart in those I would say in those three places. I would say I was one of the lucky ones that I started my career in the realm of human capital development. I worked for multiple multinationals, I would say 5 of them, where I managed the majority of the time I was in the talent management, and that brought lots of inspiration inside of me, taking care of people, making sure there's always continuous growth, unleashing really the potential from within. And you know, the global organizational setup, specifically, by the way, American companies, and I'm not marketing American companies, but just I think the width and breadth and the size of the businesses allows them to do so much investment in people. So I was lucky that I was part of those organizations where I was exposed to global practices. And when I turned 40 years of age, I said, you know, Rula, you have achieved so many of the people business goals and other companies' business goals. What about yours? And that's where I jumped on in the coaching seat, and I started working. I started my journey in the learning and development in the coaching business. And specifically in, I would say, what we call it systemic coaching and the mental fitness. And because I always tell my clients, yesterday I was doing a leadership program, and I was telling the ladies, you know, if I knew what I know today, at the age of 30, I would have been a VP of HR at the age of 30. But no one taught me, no one coached me at that age, at that time, because coaching was not, it was available only for senior executives. Of course, all the CEOs, they received coaching, but not everybody in the organizations during that time. But then I was one of the lucky ones at a later stage. And when I saw the impact on organization and people, it was, I mean, the return on investment is huge, specifically when it has to do with people enablement and engagement in the business. So my passion is that I wake up every morning to make a difference in people's lives, and I really mean this statement. So if I stand in a training room doing workshops, if I sit on one-on-ones, that nourishes my soul. So that's all about who I am. So today, I want actually to share with you about one of the dimensions of coaching, which is called the systemic coaching approach. I'm sure many of you has heard about the word systemic, or constellations, or probably we were just talking with one of our guests here today about neuroscience, and it's the systemic coaching approach is an approach that suggests that we need to focus on understanding and addressing the interconnections of the individuals and the teams and organizations. So, by the way, the word organization can be changed into family, can be changed into circle of friends, can be changed into the interconnections that we have in our system. So we live in this universe, in this system, and definitely we are interconnected. And the way we are interconnected, of course, through like majority of the time through our thoughts, right? Because our thoughts, they keep floating around, and then they get connected, and then we influence each other's behaviors through those interconnections as being part of the system. And what made me go into the systemic coaching realm is it's fascinating. When I started my coaching journey, I used to tell my mentor, he was a gentleman from Romania, and I used to tell him, Raresh, why I keep receiving people who have similar problems like mine? Why all my clients, they come talking to me about issues that they want help with that are exact problems or challenges that I am facing, but I'm not able, and what's happening here? And he's like, because those people, you're attracting them through this system to sort your problems through them. So the more you coach them, the more options they get, they inspire you to get options, and then you can sort your things. So the more the more you learn, the more you grow, the more you will start attracting people with more advanced problems. And those people with more advanced problems are the people that are going to, or challenges, let's say, let's not use the word problems, it has a negative connotation. It will have lots of interdependencies on your personal growth and on your career growth. And it was fascinating, and it was true. So the more I worked on my issues and challenges, the more I achieved growth, the more my system changed, and the more my network changed. And then I was like, that's amazing. Why don't I take this into the next level and start working with individuals, teams, and organizations? Because the organization, when you step into the reception area of the organization, by the way, you can easily and immediately spot how the system looks like and what are the interdependency and interconnectedness between how the leadership of this organization is looking for. So if you enter is managing that organization. So if you enter an organization on the reception, you will find it very friendly environment, even from the pictures, from the people on the reception talking to you, going to the CEO coming all the way outside, like welcoming you, taking you to his office and taking care of you. You will understand that the system of that organization and the behavioral patterns being manifested are all about care, empathy, customer centricity, and so on. And usually the systems are, and the behavioral patterns are cascaded from top to bottom in organizations. So that's how things are. So after I received, let's say, the right education and understanding in the entire systemic approach, that opened my horizons to the extent is that whenever something happens in my life, I try to understand what is the correlation and what is the message that it is trying to tell me. Even though whenever I get sick or whenever I have even pain inside my body, I started thinking what correlation and what is my system trying to tell me. So for example, I'm just giving you an example. If I have pain in my joints, or if I have lack of flexibility in something, and I was like, yeah, I think I start looking into what is the correlation between that lack of flexibility and whatever I'm doing in terms of behavior that requires me to be flexible, but I am not. So I started connecting to the realm, and I started connecting to whatever is happening around me, and that increases your awareness of having, let's say, the choices and decisions of what you want to keep with you and what you want to let go of, because you literally can have control over things if you understand what's happening around you and what's happening in that system. So this is, in a nutshell, the systemic coaching approach, or the systemic coaching dimension, and how it affects us. So it gives us a holistic perspective in views of individual in relation to the broader system and environment, and it makes us having that systems thinking hat in order to understand the interactions within systems for effective solutions. So it makes us really always wear the hat, the hat of continuous improvement and solutions hat, and at the same time, it makes us understand how we're going to be having that organizational alignment. So aligning the individuals and the teams with the organizational goals and ecosystem. And even if we're going to be talking about ourselves as a system, having that alignment and congruency with whatever we want inside out, right? So our subconscious mind, and I believe everybody who went into the coaching understands that we have a very, 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 very powerful mind that controls 95% of our results in life. So imagine if 95% of whatever is there in the programming of our subconscious level is not congruent with whatever we're doing. So we think so imagine if we're not congruent in whatever we want with whatever is happening outside of us, and we don't have that alignment. We will always be having struggle, negative emotions, and lack of satisfaction in life, and lack of having the good results. So alignment is very, very important in any system in order to achieve what we want. And at the same time, the systemic approach helps you have a collective development through coaching both the individual and understanding the individual role and individual impact within a group. So every single team member manifests his let's say behavioral patterns in a group, his preferences in a group, what he likes to have in a group. So having that awareness really helps in reinventing and creating let's say harmony amongst team, and at the same time it helps also the teams utilize the best potential out of every single person into that team. Before I go on into giving you an example in one of the models that I use when I do systemic coaching, the team dimension, I'd like to give you an example. A couple of weeks ago, I want to share with you a story. One of the CEOs, he called me and he's like, Rula, we need to talk. Meet me at 8 a.m. in my office. So imagine what time he sent me. He woke up, he WhatsApped me, meet me in office. And I was like, oh my God, I wonder what's happening with this guy. So I jumped in my car, I went to him and I was like, what's going on? And he was like, I have a very serious problem with my team. I have two ladies in my team, the sales director and the marketing director, and they're both very technically strong, but behaviorally, I'm not able to manage them at all. They are like they're barking and not respecting each other, stepping into each other's boundaries. Their teams I'm losing engagement from their teams and so on. And I was like, okay, no problem. Let's talk about it. So what is it that you want to achieve in today's talk or conversation? It's like, I need to bring harmony amongst those two ladies because I can't afford to lose them because they're both very good assets into the business. So we started navigating through options, and then at a certain point in time, because we connected, I told him, I want to ask you a question. Those two ladies, whom do they represent in your life? And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, who do you have in your life, in your personal life, that are similar to those ladies? Whom do they represent in your life? And then he took his time and he looked at me and he's like, my wife and my sister. And I was like, your wife and your sister. So I told him, have you ever encountered such a challenge between your wife and your sister similar to this challenge between them? He's like, of course, all the time, because they're both very strong personalities, my wife and my sister. My wife is another CEO and my sister is another very senior person somewhere in the world. And they both have they always struggle to claim their boundaries in their relationship. And I was like, how's your relationship with both of them at the moment as we speak? He's like, full of harmony, because I know I have redefined their boundaries, and we had a conversation a while ago that brought the best out of them. And I was like, how can you implement the same on those two ladies? How can you how can you break the ice between those team members? And he's like, that's fascinating. I was like, exactly. So every single time you think about it, and you look around it, around yourself, around us, all of you, I'd like you to think of so many times the challenges that we have in the professional field or in the professional realm manifests as well in our system of our personal and individual realm. It's the same, right? So that's what we call the constellation, like the family constellation. There's a huge science, science about it. And even when I did my team coaching certification, by the way, for the systemic coaching and the team systemic dimension, I have spent 6 months with a team of 6, and working together, fighting together, doing projects together. It was a very difficult experience. And imagine, we were a team of coaches, so each one is trying to claim his know-how all the time. So we were pulling each other's hair in order to achieve what we need to achieve. And on the last day, the master coach, he asked me, he's like, Rula, whom those people represent in your life? And I was like, Rareshi represents my husband, that person represents my dad, that person represents my brother, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, how did you manage to break through them in order to get the work done? And I know that, and he chose us, right? So he's like, and all of you guys, all of you are very hardcore people that I know you will not settle for anything that below a specific standard. And funny enough, I told him, it taught me 1, 2, 3. He's like, please take this and go and apply it on your family system and see how that will help you work. And it was very true. I started to be more empathetic with my brother, whom I fight with all the time, because he has very high controlling directive traits, and for me, I don't like the directive. And he's like, how did you manage to get your work done with this person in your system? Go and try to apply it there. So this is for us probably an opportunity to think, how can we leverage on from our own experience and implementing similar solutions into the other system. On another note, as I said, we manifest our behavioral patterns and relationship constellation in our environment. All right, so it's all about behavioral patterns manifestation. So now, when you become a systemic coach, your glasses will be all the time spotting people's behavioral patterns all the time. So you start connecting things and understanding people's behavior in a very detailed way. So this is one of the models I want to share with you. Since you're all coaches, I want to share with you a model that I use when I work with organizations in the team dimension and systems dimension. So there's a model that says, okay, there's a natural flow for achieving any goal. All right, when we want to achieve any goal, we go through a process of four phases or 4 steps. Let's say alignment. So we agree on the larger vision on how that goals look like, what is the purpose, align on who is going to be doing what, contract with whoever is going to be part of the team, and so on and so forth. Then we move into the information dimension, which is your knowledge, your expertise, the information that you have, let's say the analysis, the analyzing and analysis capability. Then you go into the relational dimension, which is building trust, accountability, so on and so forth. And then, of course, at the end, it is the actions that we need to take in order to achieve that goal. So many of us, sometimes, or most of the times, we fall strong in one of those dimensions rather than being balanced. And then what happens is that it will affect the results, or it will affect the outcomes of achieving that goal. For example, let me give you an example. All right. Let's say that we want to participate in a launch for a new credit card product. So you're an employee and you want to do that. All right. So you're part of a team. When we go for alignment, you're going to agree your role in the project. You're going to align on expectations and deliverables. You want to align on the project's outcomes, have ethical commitment, mental contract alignment with self that you're going to be doing this task, correct? Then you move into the information, which is your technical expertise that you're going to be utilizing during this launch. You're going to be using the insights, the numbers, the debate on what's the best processes based on your knowledge and expertise, and you're having the cooperative dialogue and discussions with the teams. When it comes to authenticity, of course, you need to build trust with the team that you're going to be working on. You're going to be providing the needed support for the team and so on, and then the action, you will have the implementation plan, the project plans, the deadlines, the rhythms, and so on. If you're someone, and there are tests, by the way, that are done online, you can do a test. I can send you the link that will show you those four dimensions. And you can get the free version, and if you want the detailed version, you pay 50 euros or something like that. I can share with you this later. I'll send it to Omar Bhai, and he will share with you. I, Rula, always fall short in putting all my energy in the information field, or in the information dimension, which means whenever I want to achieve a goal, and let it be preparing a PowerPoint presentation or preparing a training for whatsoever, I go so much into the details of putting so much knowledge there that I miss the core goal or the core value of what I want to deliver. And when I was aware of this behavioral pattern that I have, it helped me a lot understand that when I am writing a lesson plan that is more than 2 pages long, it means I am falling in the trap of my strengths, which is the information, because I'm not using my I'm not using my skills of information in the right time, in the right place. All right. So let's assume all those 4 dimensions are energies that are within us, or skills. In order to be balanced, you need to use them in the right time, in the right place, right? So people who are big on alignment, they are so much rigid, they are so much procedural, they are like for example, auditors. All right, if you bring an auditor for a project, he will spend 90% of the meeting only making sure that the procedures of that project and the contracting is going to be working in that specific time, in that specific place, and he forgets to use and utilize his expertise of information and sharing knowledge during that meeting, because for him, he's so much high on focus and so much low on the relational focus of things. When you are high on information, imagine those people sitting amongst teams, all right, who they keep debating and telling you, no, it's not like that, you can do it like this, no, you can use the Excel in that specific way, and they miss on the core value of that meeting and the core value of the goal that you're trying to achieve. And I was one of those at a certain point in time in my career, by the way. But now I do my best to balance it, all right? So at the same time, I use the power of competence, let's say, in order to win a debate in a team and on an individual level. And if the people who are more in the authenticity quadrant, they are mostly the social people, all right? The people who can have those mafias and clans in the organization, and they can get away with murder through relationships. So they have that relational aspect all the time, working on high alert, and they can do everything through using the relational part. But imagine if someone is leading a project and he used the relational part in order to sign the project without implementing the procedures, the rule of law, the procedures, and the contracting and alignment on the objective, and implementing using his expertise in the right time, in the right place. That project is going to have lots of hiccups and lots of problems at a certain point in time, because he's using his own preference. The same thing happens, by the way, when you are only debating using your power, the power of competence, and you forget to be empathetic with people and using the relational part, and at the same time you forget using the alignment skill or in the project, and understanding what is the core process, or what is the core direction that you're going to go through. And the action, the rule of action, are the people. You give them a task, they will not do any alignment, they will not use their expertise, they will not use their relationship, they will jump to action. And imagine doing action without having all the past three in place. It will affect the quality of the work that is being processed. So this is a sample of a model that is used in the systems thinking approach, or in the systemic thinking approach amongst teams, trying to understand the team's preferences and how we can realign all those into the system, and having less projections into the team dimension and the team dynamics, in order for them to have more harmony, more focus, and more authenticity and balanced action oriented people. So when people are when people are so much into the alignment dimension, they are so directive and they are so imperative, and most of the times they are introverted, let's say. And when they are in the informative field, which is the be perfect, they are usually the people who want everything to be perfectly using that knowledge, and they have very high control issues. And I had very high control issues, I admit, but now I can say I reduced it into, let's say, 50%, because I believe control is a strength. But how you balance it, it's what really matters. And then when you are into the relational dimension, you will be the people pleaser, right? So you want to please everyone, and you need people to please you in order to get everything done through feelings and emotions, and you forget on so many things. And when you are on the action, so much into the action dimension, you are the one that gives so much hard to him or herself, and they fall into the try hard aspect. So this one. This is part of, by the way, have you ever heard of the situational leadership? When we do situational leadership, it's also maybe the colors are different, but when we are when we are managing people through the situational leadership model as well, we are more on being directive, more on having the coaching approach, more on having the supportive approach and the delegative approach. So you see, this model, you can use it as well with your teams, with your teams, in order to see how many people they have a directive leadership approach. People who are so much high on alignment, they are like micromanagers. It's like instructions, 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 instructions. And they don't know how to use their energy in the right time, in the right place. They don't know how to use their highest potential in the right time, in the right place. And I want to say, using your energy in the right time, in the right place, and distributing your energy between those 4 quadrants or those 4 areas can help you help organizations a lot, can help you help yourself a lot as well, because everything starts from self. And then it will help you be on top of how you are managing your system and take the right decisions and make the right choices. And thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Rula. It's really, it's wonderful to listen to this. And I think, I mean, all that you have said, it's kind of especially resonates with me. And I am sure with lots of the audience here in terms of, because your experience is in HR, and I'm sure there are many here who have expertise in HR, and all that you have said is very much in relation to whatever we have been doing here. So thank you very much for your talk. And any questions? Mukhtar Saab, Assalamu alaikum. How are you? You are here.
Wa alaikum assalam. Sorry, I was a little late.
Good, no problem. So floor is open. Any questions from the audience? Anyone who would to share anything? Yeah, one thing that I was, in fact, let me start it from here. In your, I think in your second last or third last slide, I was looking at one aspect where it was low on the action area. So I would like a little elaboration from you that if it is action area, it also says that low in relations and low in action. How would that be? It's low relation focus and low task focus also.
Yes. Okay. So yes, I understand. Yes. It's when you are in the action area, you are more on the reaction. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, no, I need. When you are low on the action area, I mean, when you're on the action area, you're low on the relational focus, because you're not so high on what's happening and relationally, and so you're so focused getting things done. You are more on the move, crisis management, and at the same time, when people are so much in the action area, are those people who are firefighting all the time. You know why? Because they just take action without having any alignment, without having any idea, utilizing their skills and expertise. So if you are falling into that trap of action without being patient, because they are so impatient, they just want to get the job done and they just want things out of their plate, they will fall in the trap of being reactive rather than being proactive. That's why it is low task focus and low relation focus.
Okay. And you said that it would be a balance between all the things that would make a good leader. And
the best leaders, this is task related, by the way. So the best leaders are the ones who are balanced in the way they distribute their energy. So if you are a leader, if you're a coach, let me tell you, let's take the coaching session as an example. Imagine having a coaching session without aligning on the goal or the purpose of the session. All right, so you just I come and I'll tell you, okay, Omar, I start the session without asking you, what do you want to achieve in your coaching session today? And then align exactly on what is the goal we're going to be working on, right? So here I'm using the alignment quadrant. Then I will go in the information, which is options, 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 options. And I facilitate for you the session into getting more options. But then at the same time, I am being empathetic. I am being a very good listener with no judgment. I am acknowledging, I'm nodding my head, I'm being authentic, I'm being present. I am asking you questions, acknowledging your answers. And then I end the coaching session by taking actions, right? So I tell you, okay, so now we have all of this. How we're going to take this forward? What are the actions that you want to take in order to make sure that you have achieved your goal? It's the same. So if you implement this model on a coaching session, and imagine the coaches who try to impose their expertise on the client, and they will not be authentic and whatever, you will say, oh my God, what a horrible experience. You will feel that they have hijacked all your space, and they spoke this much that they didn't allow you to say a single word in the session, and because they think they want to showcase their expertise to you. And the most important skill in coaching is listening, right? So if you don't know how to balance it, or somebody, as I said, not aligning, or somebody from alignment, he will jump into action. Okay, so what's next? How can you go to action without exploring options? Or a coach that's so rigid and sitting in front of you, and he doesn't even appreciate or comprehend the challenge that you're facing. Or sometimes people, they sit in coaching sessions, even CEOs, they may tear or cry because of something. It's something that happened with them that affected them. So you need to be empathetic and understanding, or you need to acknowledge, and you say, yes, well done. I see, for example, if somebody's getting options, oh, well done. I see that you're coming up with solutions, or acknowledgement, and so on. So if you apply this model on a coaching session, a good coaching session, and when I do mentorship, I look into those 4 dimensions when I assess any coach. For me, it's at the back of my mind. Now it is on autopilot, this model for me. So did I align well? Did I open the session well? Am I asking the right question? Am I being present? Am I helping on that? At the same time, am I taking action at the end? And I'm very well known. Today I was in one of the biggest organizations here in telecom, and I met some of my clients, that the seniors, they saw me on the corridor, and they told the HR, this coach, she makes us work, because there is no way I leave the room without them having actions for the next 1 month until we meet. Otherwise, what's the benefit of us being there? You know, so you can implement it on teaching your son or your daughter something at school. You can implement it on cooking a dish. You can implement it on. So imagine when you take it from a team dynamics, and you see, when we do team dynamics, there are reports that will show if the team there is no alignment amongst the team, it's a disaster, because each one will be working in his own silo. So it will take us into the direction of bringing balance. Okay, so I ask them on teams that have no alignment, what are the actions you're going to take to ensure alignment in every meeting? How you're going to be starting the meeting? Who's the alignment agenda? Who's going to be the owner of the agenda? Who's going to be the owner of booking calendars? Who's going to be the owner of opening the objective of that? So there will be roles for the team in order to ensure they go through all of this. If there will be people talking a lot in the meeting, there will be somebody telling them, hello, hey, I think let's move to next, and making a decision-oriented meeting, rather than it's a casual meeting and just sitting to waste our time and our money. And this model, when it's worked in a collaborative culture, it reduces time it reduces wasted time, and it increases efficiencies in boards, We've done it in boards, amongst board members, with the chairman. I remember we've done it in Coca-Cola in France, where they used to meet 3 days, the board, in order to get decisions. And I was like, we reduced it. We made them increase their efficiency by finishing a board meeting into 6 hours. And the board meeting is all about only making decisions and taking actions. So when you have proper alignment, people, they are so much focused, using their expertise and in the right time, in the right place, no debates, no, sorry, excuse my French, no bullshit. And then you go to people feeling for each other and taking decisions based on emotions. We're not, especially when it has to do with people. And then taking the action. So taking the action and cascading it to the organization. So this organization, after every board meeting, they have a list to cascade and take action. So it's a very simple model, but it's very impactful.
Ji, anyone else? Ji, Bakhtar Saab, anything from you? Wasif Saab, anything? Adnan? Bakhtar Saab, aapka mute.
Yeah, sure. Let me thank you, Rula, for a wonderful session. The principles that you outlined, the four-way, the alignment, information, authenticity, and action. And the session was, if I remember correctly, about systemic team coaching, right? But
yes.
the same mechanism and the same system applies perfectly well to one-on-one coaching. Because in order to coach a leader, for example, if you do not have sufficient information and background into all these four quadrants, you cannot really do an effective coaching for even one individual.
True. Very true.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
Brilliant.
Very true.
Okay, so if there
ladies,
is...
I didn't hear the ladies today. Although we have influence, right? We are 1, 2, 3, 4. Like we're almost 50-50. So any suggestions, any questions, anything you want to shed light on?
Yeah. Thank you, Rula, I joined a little bit late, but I enjoyed every bit of it. So I was really looking forward. And the 4 dimension for the team coaching was really helpful. I really appreciate you taking out time, and it was really helpful. Thank you.
You're welcome. What I like the most, besides all the framework that you shared with us, is the examples that you've been sharing. The one example of the CEO that you shared, and how our professional life sometimes manifests from whatever is happening in our personal life also. So that brings very strong lesson or message as to how it's just there isn't any button on us where we could switch off for our professional life and switch on for our personal life in the evening. So it's all gets together whenever we are. So we are a total human being, whereby we need to take all the things at the same time with us. So if there isn't any other comments, please, Shabeen.
Can we take a group picture with Rula? So yeah.
Yes, we
can. I can see Adnan.
Before we
Adnan, he raised his hand.
Adnan has a question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I have a slightly different tangent on the question. I understand team coaching is typically used for organizations and so on. I was just wondering if someone has explored, if you explored doing this in family setting or family business settings, for example, because I mean the same principles.
The same principles. And if you're interested in the family settings, research about family constellations. It's a science by itself. You can go and study about it. Family constellations, they use it in Europe a lot. It's something I want to do it at a specific time, just for me, for fun. But if you're interested in that field, go and research about it. It does. And in family businesses, I understand. I mean, family businesses, in terms of a business setup, Unfortunately, they don't have most of the family businesses. Most of them around the world, they still like to work without having proper governance of people, segregation of duties and wearing the hat of professionalism and so on. So it's very challenging. It's usually the head, which is the father and the grandfather, ruling all the young ones. It's and making sure. And in Pakistan, you have lots. I mean, the Pakistani economy is running on family businesses. Yeah, and I have many of my Pakistani friends who are running family businesses, and they are following their father's decisions and father's stuff. So unless the person is open to change and open to jump on a different bus, I don't think it's going to be very easy. But I think, and this is something I believe in, if the younger generation decided to understand how the system works, they can manipulate the elder ones and get what they want.
Yeah.
Haven't we all done that all our lives?
Yes. We've done it. But I mean, on a business setup, I think they can if they want. They can.
Great. Shabeen, can you take the picture? We are all in one frame.
Yes. Yes. So if everyone can open their camera, so I'll take a picture and we can do some action like this, thumbs up. Okay.
Thank you. So this is our Shabeen runs our LinkedIn page.
Thank you.
He is there. So thank you very much, everyone, especially Rula, for your time and sharing a wonderful perspective for this session. And by the way, before we go, our next session will be on next month's last Friday, which will be on Friday, 29th of November. And we will be sharing the details of that. And by the way, we have this session typically on the last Friday of every month. This one, because Rula was flying tomorrow, so she requested that if we could be one day earlier, so we made an exception for that. But thank you very much for taking time out, and all the audience who spared their time. It was wonderful to be here. And again, we'll see you next month, in fact, 29th of November.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Thanks for
Assalamu
having
alaikum,
me.
Wasif bhai. So nice to see you here.
Recording is done for this,
Thank
and
you.
we'll be
Bye-bye.
sharing it on the YouTube and on our channel. Thank you, Ji. Bye-bye.
Shukran. Thank you very much.
Thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot.
Bye.
All the best.
Bye.
Hafiz.
Hafiz.